you again, and it is Friday.
And I am pumped because that means I get to answer your guys' questions. So, first off, I want to say, leave your questions for next week's show down below in the comments. I got a ton of comments on my last FAQ video, but not a lot of them were questions. We've got enough in here to do the show today, which is great, but a lot of things were people replying to the things that I said. So please make sure if you guys have questions for me to answer, drop them down below in the comments here, and I will absolutely get to them next week. Appreciate you guys watching these videos, and I love interacting with you. So, give me those questions and we'll make sure to get them answered. First thing I want to start off with is we just passed 1,500 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy to me. So thank you guys so much, all my new subscribers. Really appreciate you guys being here. Hope you're enjoying the content. If there's anything that you guys want to see that you haven't seen yet, or you guys have any suggestions for the channel, please let me know, because I'm always open to that stuff. I want to make sure that everybody is getting out of this channel what they want to see, because ultimately the whole reason I started it was to put out cool demos of amps that you guys want to hear. So please, any suggestions, any amps you want to see me get on the channel that you haven't seen already, let me know and I'll do my best to get them on here. Second thing, tonight at 7:30, I'm doing a live stream of a bunch of new amps that I got. We're going to do a little bit of a playthrough of them in real time. So you guys will be able to get to hear those amps for the first time as I hear them for the first time. For the most part, I already played the Dover because I was too excited to not play that one, and I had to plug it in, and it is sick. Yeah, tomorrow night at 7:30, if you guys want to hang out, I will be doing a live stream, taking your guys' questions. Come down here and say that. So anyways, I would be really pumped if you guys would hang out, and I can take some of your guys' questions, and you guys can check out these amps with me for the first time. It'll be a good time. 7:30, we'll see you there. Item number 3, I have had a few people, and by a few I mean quite a few, surprising amount actually tell me that I should start a Patreon for donations and for funding for the channel. I honestly didn't think that the channel was at that point yet, but I've had quite a few people tell me that I should do it. So I know that I've discussed it on another live stream before where people told me I should do it. Genuinely want your guys' feedback. I don't want you guys to think that I'm just here to take your money. I would absolutely take that money and invest it back into the gear for the channel. If the Patreon got to the point where enough people were investing in it, like say like a $5 a month investment, I would buy a pedal with that every month, do a demo on it, and then give it away to you guys. I'm also thinking about picking up one of the Neural Quad Cortexes and making profiles of my amp setups. If that's something you guys would be interested in, I could do a couple of my amp profiles and put them up for my Patreon members every month for, $3, whatever. I don't know. I don't really know how this stuff works. I don't know what's fair. I feel weird even making this announcement, but you guys tell me. If you guys think that a Patreon's a good idea for my channel to keep getting some stuff in here, I'm all for it. I'm not trying to make a profit off this. I just want to be able to invest in whatever gear you guys want to see on the channel. So if you think that's a horrible idea, let me know. That's totally fair and I'm fine with it. If you guys think it's a good idea and it's something you'd be interested in investing in, you'd essentially be investing in this channel, which is for you guys. So that's one way to look at it. And you feel comfortable with that, by all means, I'm open to doing it. You guys just give me your suggestions and we'll go from there. So anyways, with all that crap out of the way, let's get to some questions. First question is from Shownuff Madrigal. Have you ever tried out Rivera amps, the Knucklehead in particular? Yes, actually, if you go way back on my channel, before I really even started posting content, I have like a 3-minute clip of when I borrowed Jason Howell's Rivera Knucklehead. It was the K-Tray, and it sounds awesome. It's actually still to this day, I think it's one of the best like little recorded clips that I've made on this entire channel, despite all the amps that I've had on here. It's a really cool, just little snippet of the amp. I only got to play it for like an hour when I borrowed it, but dude, I want one. I will be getting one for this channel, absolutely, and for my own personal enjoyment because it sounded sick. It kind of reminded me of like a dual rectifier, but a little bit tighter, but still huge, still kind of loose low end, but it just had more clarity and so much more range in the EQ. It was a really cool amp. So I'll link that video in the description down below if you guys want to check out that little clip. But yeah, that's the only Rivera that I've played to date, but it was cool enough that I really wanted to get one. So I'm on the lookout. If you guys see a K-Tray for $1,000 or less, let me know. I will buy it. Austin Eldridge, always with the good questions. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Austin. He asks, what are my top 5 amps of all time? Great question. That's gonna be really hard for me to narrow it down. All right, so we're gonna start it off at number 5. I put this list together extremely quickly in my head, so if I screw this up, I apologize, but I have a pretty good idea of what are my favorite amps. Number 5 is the VHT Deliverance D60. I love the VHT stuff, and I haven't done one of my newer style videos on any of those amps yet, so I really need to get that up. But the VHT D60, they have their own thing going on, and it's really unique. So I really think that in certain situations, they're amazing. In certain situations, I don't love them. But the Deliverance over the Pitbull, I like the Deliverance in more varied situations. I think it works for more styles that I like to play, to my ear anyways. Super dry, super percussive, super clear, but it's a little bit more saturated than the Pitbull is. So it feels a little bit more like a 5150, but it's still really stiff and really dry, stiff and dry. It's just a phenomenal amp to play. It's so dynamic. I mean, it's one of those amps that you really have to dig in, but when you dig in with your right hand, you are rewarded massively. Amp number 4, kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, is the Deadweald Herbert. I have a Herbert Mark I, and when I got that amp, I didn't play anything else for quite a while. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I really like it for both standard tuning and for drop tuning. It works in both. I played a bunch of shows with it, got lots of compliments on how the thing sounded. I mean, I think people just see Deadweald and they're blown away already, so automatically they're like, this is gonna sound great. But yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of compliments when using that amp on the tones that I was getting with it. It's, you know, Deadweald's very much its own thing, but if I had to compare it most closely to something, I'd compare it with a PV5150, but even then, it's very much its own animal. Channel 2 with the mid-cut on, level turned up, and the intensity turned all the way down. Gives it like this upper mid spike almost. It makes it cut through even more, it's weird, but it sounds killer like that. Amp number 3 would have to be the original PV5152. I like the 2 over the original because the 2 is a little bit tighter in the low end. It's got a little bit more upper mid frequencies, and it's just a little less out of control in the gain and the level of saturation. Granted, you can kind of, you know, fix all that with pickups and different tubes, but I just always find it to get the 5152, the gain level that I like is a little bit easier than it is with the original. Plus the low end doesn't quite have the same amount of sag. It doesn't quite have the same wall of sound effect, but it doesn't have quite the same amount of sag either. So 5152, I've loved that amp for forever. 6505 plus, same thing. So that would be amp number 3. Amp number 2 for me is my Splawn Pro Stock, which is essentially just a single channel quick rod model with 6550 power tubes. I love pretty much anything Splawn quick rod circuit related. So I've got a Super Sport 50, I've got a Pro Mod, which is the single channel quick rod with KT88 power tubes in it, and I also have the Pro Stock, which is my number 1. Both my Pro Mod and Pro Stock are the first year of production. They're both 2004s. They both have the Mercury Magnetics transformers in them, which I don't really care all that much about that. I don't think that they make that much of a difference in the Splawn amps. The Mercury and the Haybor are they're pretty comparable. I do notice with the classic tone, and it could be with circuit revisions on the newer amps, the amp's a little bit softer sounding and not quite as aggressive. But again, I recorded all 3 back to back when I had my quick rod, my first year Pro Mod, my first year Pro Stock. And the differences were like absolutely minimal. You guys know how much I love the Splawn quick rod, which means my number 1 amp has to be something really special, and it's not. It is just the EVH 5153 50 watt Stealth. I have kind of been a big proponent of don't go and sell your other 5150 models just to get the EVH 5150 Stealth, because it's priced so much higher and the used prices haven't come down yet on them, or you can hardly find them used. But truthfully, I do still think it's my favorite of the 3 50 watt models, just because it's the least congested in the mids and it has the most overall like string separation and clarity. I mean, when I shot it out with the Omega Granifier on a video a few weeks back, on the blue channel, man, it stood with that Granifier. It stood toe to toe with that thing. I ended up preferring the Granifier by a very, very slim margin, but even so, I mean, the 5150 just has so much versatility. The red channel is great if you don't have a boost. The blue channel is great if you've got a boost. The clean channel is awesome. the separate volume and gain on the concentric pots. I mean, it's just a great design. It's a great sounding amp. Priced reasonably at $1,300 brand new for a 3-channel 50-watt compact head that has no issues with headroom or volume at all. So anyways, this question has gotten extremely long-winded, but those would be my top 5 amps. 5, VHD Deliverance 60. 4, Dietzel Herbert Mark 1. 3, PV 5152. Spawn quick rod of pretty much any variety. 1, EVH 5150 50-watt stealth. Patrick Kelly asks, is this the guy who played Joker on Gotham? Yeah, actually that's me. And I have been reduced to making YouTube videos about guitar amps because I just crashed and burned in the acting world. It didn't go well. Everybody said I looked like Matt Damon and they just couldn't sell me. So now I'm here. Andrew Reichert asked, would I ever demo solid state amps? Absolutely, man. I would definitely demo some cool old solid state stuff. I've never really gotten a chance to play through any of the old Randall amps that everybody loves so much that are solid state, so kind of on the lookout for some of that stuff. I used to have a PV XXL and a PV Supreme 160, and both of those amps sounded absolutely rad. Did not need a boost, ultra tight, super saturated. They very much remind me of the PV Ultra series, specifically the Triple X. But they're solid state and they get plenty loud, they cut, and they sound great in a band mix and no boost needed. So I will definitely demo some solid state stuff down the road. It all just depends on me being able to find it at a price that I'm willing to pay to get it on the channel. That's all. So yeah, solid state stuff will definitely be on here at some point. All right, JJ's House of Jams asks, thoughts on the G12T75? I'm surprised you didn't mention them. Yeah, I didn't mention the T75 because I don't really like it that much, to be completely honest. Some people might not love that, but what are you doing?
Letting your dog out.
Don't let him back in. So yeah, I don't really mention the T75 that much because I don't really like it. It is just not my favorite speaker. It definitely works with some amps. I mean, pretty much anything Marshall based that has that really prominent upper mid section, it works fine. It actually sounds really good, especially with like my DSL. I like how it fills the low end on that. The upper mids are so intense on the DSL that it actually kind of smooths them out on the T75. So T75 are really dependent on what amp I'm playing, but usually any Marshall style amp sounds pretty decent through those. 800 sounds great through them too. But like when I play like 5150s through them, it just sounds like mushy, scoopy, I just don't like it. I mean, that's my opinion. I know they're a somewhat popular and highly used speaker for a reason. I know that Cola Keller Studio did an awesome video on how to make them sound good in a recording, so you guys should go check out his channel because he's got some really great videos on all sorts of recording stuff that I have that's way over my head and my ability level, but has helped me tremendously. And if you're looking into recording stuff, check his channel out because it will help you a lot too. He did a video where he said he hated the T75 mainly for recording purposes, but he's found ways to make it work and actually ended up liking it after he tweaked it. I would like to do a speaker shootout at some point. I have like a million 4x12 cabs with a lot of different speakers. That video is just a video that's gonna take me the better part of a day to film, and most of my videos are shot on my lunch break. So I just don't have the time to do it when nobody's here because my girlfriend's a pain in the ass and she cries every time I play a note on my guitar. She's not listening. Loud guitar in the house. We have a smaller house, so it just doesn't work out very well when she's home. So I gotta find a day where she's not here that I can actually film that video and put it together for you guys. But I've got all sorts of different V30 variants. I've got K100s, I've got T75s, I've got old 80s G12-65s, I've got new greenbacks, old PVK-85s. I just got some creambacks in my Spawn cab. If the DV77s are in stock ever, I've got a pair of those coming my way, so I will definitely do like a speaker cab shootout video sometime in the future. Rambook band? I don't know, sorry bro. Have you tried any crank stuff? Would be great to hear comparison of the Chadwick against a Marshall 800. I had a Chadwick and I hated it. Sorry man, I just didn't like it at all. It sounded like a fat, flubby, modded Marshall 800 without all the good characteristics in my opinion. I mean, this is purely my opinion. But I read a lot of good things about them, which led me to buying one, and once I bought it, I just did not gel with it at all. I tried to like it, I played it a bunch of times, and I just could never get on with it. So my buddy Jesse actually really likes the 2-channel version. He says the 2-channel or the Mark II is much better. So I'll probably try one of those at some point, but I did not like the Chadwick whatsoever. My only other experience with crank is when I stupidly traded my JCM 800 2203 Kerry King model for a Rev 1 back in 2010, and the Rev 1 immediately blew up on me, so I took it back to the store that I traded everything for, and the Kerry King was gone already. So I lost out on that one, but I am definitely down to try crank stuff on the channel. I want to play everything on here, guys. I mean, I don't care if it's something that I'm necessarily super interested in. I want to make demos of all the high gain amps in the style that I play because, you know, the people who watch my channel resonate with that style. So you guys know how they sound, because there's been a million amps that I've been curious about that I've looked for demos for in our style, and I just can't find them. So that's what I'm here to do. So I'm gonna look for stuff like that. A lot of people have been requesting orange. I'm gonna look for some orange stuff. A lot of people have been requesting Mesa Marks. I bought a Mark III. It's actually sitting on the floor behind me. So I've got a Mark III purple stripe that is going to be on the channel here in the near future once I figure out how to dial it in. I haven't even plugged it in yet, so I don't know how much I'm gonna struggle. But anyways, that's why I say I'm open to your guys' suggestions, because I really wanna get the stuff on here. Not only that I like, but the stuff that you guys want to see played in the style that we all play. Master Shredder Harmonic Minor says, new here, have you ever heard of Weekend Nachos? Yeah, actually a couple of my bands have played with them on multiple occasions. Back when Erie used to have shows somewhat frequently and we had a live scene. Yeah, they came through a few times and a few of my bands played with them. So very familiar with them. Great live band, man. They are wild, they're fun to watch. So yeah, definitely familiar with them and cool band. Dave Rochette, have you tried some KSR stuff like the series preamp? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. I have not. I've not tried anything KSR related yet. I tried to buy an Orthos 2 off of some guy on Reverb who was a complete moron, so the deal fell through. I actually just talked to Arnold Plays Guitar yesterday because he posted his series preamp pedal for sale. So I'm actually gonna buy that off him next week and demo it here on the channel, and then I will end up probably moving it along for the next thing. Yeah, I'll be trying that KSR series, and truck driver Sean also let me borrow a KSR Eros pedal. So I'll be doing a demo on that thing here in the very near future too. This whole last week I was really focused on amps because I had to get some of them sold or I was borrowing them. So I did primarily amp demos for the last like week and a half. But pretty soon I'm gonna start mixing some more pedals in, and preamp pedals. I've got the Rev G3 and G4. I got a Seymour Duncan Palladium. I know that one's like real old, but I got a good deal on it, so I figured screw it, I'll make a video, unless you guys don't wanna see it, and then I'll just resell it. KSR stuff, I'm trying to get like an Orthos or a Gemini or any KSR related amps in here. So if you guys have a lead on KSR stuff, send it my way, because I would love to get their amps on my channel. I don't care if I have to buy it, as long as it's at a price that I won't lose money on the resale. I'm fine with that, so let me know. All right, Tim Stalkers asks, question for next time, how is the daily vid schedule working for you? Any fear of burning out? Yeah, definitely, man. There are days when I just am not quite feeling like coming home and doing the demo on my lunch break because I'm so stressed out or burnt out at work. You know, I'm just like, man, I really just want an hour to just chill and not think about anything. But then I come home and I sit down and I play and I have a blast. And when I'm editing the videos, I wake up, I'm not a morning person at all, but I started waking up an hour and a half early every morning to edit my videos and get them ready to put them up on the channel later that day. And honestly, it doesn't really feel like work most of the time, especially now that I've gotten better at video editing and it's getting a little bit faster and doesn't feel so tedious. Naturally, when you do something every day, you do get worried that you're gonna eventually not like it, but I've really been enjoying it, mostly because I enjoy the interaction that I get with you guys, but also, who doesn't want to play a sick amp every day for half hour a day? I mean, that's really the only time I get to play most days anyways, which is why my playing is so terrible, so I apologize for that. But it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I love doing the channel, so like on the days where I'm maybe not necessarily really feeling it, I'll just remember how much fun it is to make videos like these or to engage with you guys in the comments, and usually as soon as I sit down and grab that guitar and turn the amp on, all that goes away and I have a great time doing it. So there's fear of it happening, but as of now, there hasn't been any actual burnout, and my videos, I keep them simple. so that I don't have like a massive setup time or a massive editing time, or it's not a huge pain in the ass to put it all together. So I've kind of found a formula that works for me that also seems to be working for you guys. So I'm gonna keep that going for as long as I can, or until it's not fun anymore, or until you guys stop watching. And I don't think that it's not gonna be not fun for me anymore. So as long as you guys keep watching, I'll keep doing it. Okay, so the Hoppo asks, Kyle, being a thrash fan, do you like Silosis from over here in the UK? Any plans to review the Josh Middleton ESP LTD signature? Yeah, I dig Silosis. I haven't listened to him a lot. I am actually more of a hardcore guy than I am a metal guy, but I do enjoy metal bands for sure, and I play in one, so I would hope so. But yeah, Silosis is awesome. I've always loved Josh Middleton's videos, actually. I think that his YouTube videos are some of the best out there as far as just simple demos for amps and stuff like that. He's a super good player. I aspire to play like that. People have said that some of the stuff that I play is very similar to that style. And Derrick Voricci writes a lot of the Bushido code riffs, and he digs Silosis. He digs Josh Middleton, so I definitely get that. I don't have any plans of reviewing his guitar because it's expensive. Finding one used for a decent price is gonna take a while, and by the time I probably do that, the hype will be gone on that guitar. So unless ESP wants to send me one for demo, probably not gonna happen, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. So sorry, man, I'd like to get one on here, but I would have to find a really good used deal in the near future to do it. All right, last question is from Sven Jeschke. I apologize, man. Yeah, I'm never gonna get that right. He says, hey Kyle, have you ever tried a Marshall JVM 410H JS Satriani signature? No, I have a 410H, but I've never tried the Satriani one. I've heard that that's like the best model out of all of the JVM models. So I would love to get my hands on them, but as far as I know, they're either a limited run or they're not in regular production. So the prices have just kind of slowly been climbing up there on those. And truthfully, I don't love the 410H in its stock form. I'm gonna do a couple videos with it here sometime at some point whenever I get around to it. But once I do a couple videos in stock form, there are some videos, or there are some mods out there to really open the amp up, and there are some mods to bring it closer to the Joe Satriani version that also open the amp up. It's very compressed in its stock state. It's almost like solid state like in nature. To me, that's just not what I'm trying to get out of a Marshall, so I think I'm gonna take it to Mike Wagner Amp Repair down in the comments. If you guys have any questions about amp troubleshooting or want to get a hold of him for repairs, he's very reasonably priced and he's a great dude to talk to. But anyways, I will probably take the amp to him and have him mod it at some point, and then see how it sounds after I do some of the mods that open the amp up. But I've never played the Joe Satriani version. I've had a few 410Hs. The one that I have now is definitely the best sounding one that I've owned, and they varied quite a bit, which is kind of surprising. So I think I'm gonna hang on to it for the time being. I'll get a video up on that, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff here in the near future when I have time. But anyways, that's gonna do it for me. This video is going way too long. Again, leave your comments for next week down in the comments. And by comments, I mean questions. Leave your questions for next week down in the comments. Let me know on the questions that I answered at the beginning of the video. I really appreciate you guys' feedback. Really appreciate you guys being here. Channel's growing at a crazy rate. Companies are starting to reach out to me for demos. It's absolutely blowing my mind, and it's humbling me at the same time. So really appreciate everybody who's here each and every week, each and every video. Thanks again, Kyle here. We'll see you guys next time.